Chapter 5, Mishnah 3. It was stated in Mishnah 1 that Yochanan was responsible for providing the tokens and Achia was responsible for providing the nesachim. The Mishnah now explains what this means. Nesachim are brought to accompany Ola and Shlamim offerings and consists of flour mixed with oil, which is burnt on the altar, and wine, which is poured on the altar. The required amount of flour, oil, and wine varies according to the kind of animal offered as the Ola or Shlamim. A system was developed to allow people to buy their nesachim in the temple. First, they would pay money to Yochanan, who as proof of payment would give them a token that indicated how much flour, oil, and wine they had paid for. This Mishnah teaches that different tokens were used for this purpose, representing the various kinds of offerings. We now turn to the words of the Mishnah. There were 4 different tokens that were used in the temple, and written on each of them was a word that indicated what its holder required. 1. Calf, which meant that he required the nesachim that accompany a cattle offering. 2. Male, i.e. a ram, for the nesachim that accompany a ram offering. 3. Kid, for the nesachim that accompany a goat or sheep offering. 4. And sinner, for the nesachim that accompany the offerings of a mitzorah. Another Tana disputes both the number of tokens and the language in which they were labeled. Ben Azai, however, says there were 5 different tokens, and an Aramaic word was written on each of them. 1. Calf. 2. Male. 3. Kid. 4. Poor sinner, which was used for the nesachim that accompany the offerings of a poor mitzorah, who offers 1 lamb and 2 birds. 5. And rich sinner, for the nesachim that accompany the offerings of a rich mitzorah, who offer 3 lambs. The Mishnah specifies the animals represented by each of the tokens. The calf token was used for the nesachim that accompany cattle, which were the same whether the cattle were large or small, i.e. adult or young, male or female. The kid token was used for the nesachim that accompany sheep and goats, whether the sheep and goats were large or small, male or female, with the exception of rams, male sheep more than a year old. The male token was used only for the nesachim that accompany rams. The sinner token was used for the nesachim that accompany the 3 animals that are required of rich mitzoras.